Good morning, and welcome everyone. I am Bud Evans, the Property Patriot, host of the My Podcast, and as always, I am here with the ever-talented and beautiful Kimmy Crombie, the co-host from the West Coast. Good morning, anyone. Hey, listen, if you guys are watching this after the fact, I appreciate you, and if you're here live with us, I am in Aruba, and Kimmy is from Washington. Right. So, I am a native. And instead of sitting on the beach, I am sitting here with you. So there we go. How important is this, right?
and all we're doing is having fun.
Exactly, right? So Stephanie is, kind of like doing the thing, right? She's just kind of hanging out. She's about to walk down, and we have an umbrella and some chairs already set up, and towels, and so all she's got to do is walk down there. And I'm going to have my marketing meeting in the water on the beach in Aruba. So it's a good day. Not bad at all. So is everything coming up? You can see me. We're looking good. Am I lagging at all?
You're a little bit glitchy, but otherwise it's great. I mean, it's not really anything different than normal, right?
I'm always glitchy. Whether I'm glitchy or not, I'm glitchy. So it's all good.
So true.
Right? So, so we're looking good. I am going over to the Not News feed. And hopefully, listen, if you are going to comment today, do us a favor, guys, so that we can see you. Go over to StreamYard.com/Facebook. Kimmy, what do they do when they get there?
All you're going to do is just click the button that says, let StreamYard see your Facebook Live comments. So what that does is it gives us the ability to see who is commenting and saying things like, good morning. See how it just says Facebook user? Did you say Aruba? We would love to know who's talking to us. So if you just go to this website here and give Facebook and StreamYard permission to talk to each other, then we can see who it is.
Yes, absolutely. And I did say Aruba, and yes, I am in Aruba, and I love Aruba, and I've been here several times. It is something that Stephanie and I do. Our anniversary is in August. We were not originally going to come here this year. We were going to try to do something else later on. And I was like, I got to get out of town for a while. So we just jumped on a plane and came down. Luckily, we were able to get a room here and just kind of hang out. But listen, if you know me, I'm a little bougie. So they have my little coffee pot here. So I get my own little private coffee pot in the morning with, my little private. I've got to be very careful. I was going to say,
do not swirl that, please. It's going to spill everywhere.
Cup. Yeah,
you don't have a sippy cup.
Not good.
Did you
cannot take me anywhere.
Yeah,
I forgot my Yeti. It's at home. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That is no bueno. Hey, good morning, Miss Diane Street. Nice to have you here with us this morning. And I have my Friday coffee mug. Probably not coffee. That's right. And it has been a week, bud. I don't know about you, but I feel like I'm on the precipice of something because there's been so much that's been going on. So we came back from Disneyland and I dove right back in. Like I think I said last weekend, I'm going to take a minute and just chill. I'm going to sleep. I'm going to recuperate because I took 144,000 steps in 7 days. Like that is more steps than I took in a month. And then Saturday morning, I woke up and I was like, well, nothing else to do. I'm just going to dive in and work, And so I've been going and going and going for a week. And that's how it is with vacation. You take vacation, you get to relax and chill, and then you got to catch up on everything you missed and everything that's waiting for you. And I feel like there's just a ton waiting for me right now. I don't know how you feel when you get back, but
it doesn't matter if I'm back or I'm here.
I
have a property management company, and I've got, you got all this stuff, and it just keeps coming. Right?
I have to say,
this is since this morning, Kimmy.
I did totally unplug while we were on vacation, with the exception of a couple of necessary conversations that, when you're in this industry, it can't wait. But it was nothing more than 5-10 minutes. The kids didn't even know, which was great because that's their whole complaint all the time. Ellie Jo is constantly saying, Mom, you're always working. You're always working. You're always working. Like, I know. And when we know better, we should theoretically do better. And so I did. I unplugged entirely on vacation. But like I said, I just dove right back in when we got back. I was very lackadaisical on responding to texts and getting to calls and stuff because I spent like Saturday and Sunday just purely getting caught up and getting situated, doing the laundry, unpacking, all that stuff. But it was great because then by Sunday night, I was ready to rock and roll on Monday. And then like, bam, the week just hit,
Yeah.
Just crazy.
I know there's a lot going on, right? So I'm going to shut that down real quick. Am I allowed to say this? I know that we were talking last night and we were, kind of chatting through Instagram DM. I've got to ask you.
Yeah.
What are you thinking? A restaurant?
Yeah. Boy, thank you for keeping me grounded, bud. Yeah. So.
Hey, listen, from the guy who failed miserably with an Italian trattoria, whatever.
Well, so if I could have put my money on what we would be doing next, it would not be a restaurant and tap house. But without going too far into detail and saying too much, good morning. That's Jennifer Balance. Good morning. Nice to have you here. I have an opportunity. We have an opportunity. And as all of our opportunities have presented themselves to us, this one is no different. So when we were going to buy our first condo, it was Justin said something to the effect of, well, hey, why don't we just buy a condo here in Scottsdale? And I was like, okay. And so we did. And then through renting through traditional rental car companies like Enterprise, Hertz, all that stuff, I got tired of waiting in line for 3 hours for a car that we theoretically reserved in advance. And I had this, one of my agents actually in Arizona, Joel Lutterlow. By the way, Joel, if you're watching, hi, see you at the baseball game next year. Joel said, try Turo. And I was like, what is Turo? So I get online because the rental car company said, oh, we don't have a car. I'm like, we paid for it. You need to have a car. There was like no way out of it. We had to, that view is just insane, bud. Not fair. I can't really say it's not fair because I was just on vacation for a week, but jealousy. But anyway, so we rented through Turo after that, and it was so smooth, so easy. We always use Turo. Get this. So like 2 months after we start using Turo in Arizona and for our other vacations, Justin's like, why don't we just buy a car to Turo?
Hey, we bought a zoo. What?
So guess what we did? So we bought a Turo and then our next condo. And then I'm up here on a call and I'm in the middle of something. Babe comes upstairs and he's like, hey, babe, what if we just buy this place? That there's a place in a town nearby that is going out of business, and they didn't fail at business. They just are ready to move on to something else. And we know the owners. And we have a lot of connections there. We also have a connection
wait.
to...
Are you telling me you know an owner of a craft brew house that is close to you?
I know. Are you shocked? I know.
Not at all.
That's where I get it, right? So this is our local tap. This is our favorite spot. This is my Cheers. This is actually where Justin proposed. He proposed here at Josh's.
Oh, good.
Yeah, like right outside. And in fact, Josh wasn't there. Yeah, I know. Well, Josh wasn't even there that night. So I had to text him the next day and he's like, what? You couldn't wait for me? I'm like, bro, we were there last night. Sorry. But anyway, yeah, we have this.
I couldn't wait. Do you see the ring that I need on my finger?
Yes. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. So, Kara's asking, but did he propose? Yes, Justin proposed outside of Josh's. So yeah, there's that. But anyway, so we don't know what we're doing at all, but we trust that we have the right people around us that we could make this go. Oh, he's going to stream his next meeting. No, bud, please don't.
No speedo. I said that I would, I promised that I would not be shirtless or pantsless. I have pants on, I have a shirt on. So we're good. We're good.
And on that note,
the beach is literally right there. The beach is really right there. Yeah.
We have a question.
Exam tips. You ready? Don't fail.
I was just going to say pass it.
Just pass it. Exactly. Right. If you went through the course and you did your coursework, you'll pass.
Do or do not. There is no try, Alicia. That is my advice. And a deal is neither good nor bad. It just is.
You must find the number.
That's right. Absolutely. We solve for X, as Yasser says. Yasser says it all the time. We solve for X. We're always looking for that X factor, right? But anyway, so that's the opportunity in a nutshell. And yes, it came about just like everything else did. Hey, why don't we just do this?
I'm in a nutshell.
In a nutshell. Oh my God. The dad jokes are already rolling. Lay, that's 1 for Bud and 0 for me.
No, listen, I've been up since 5 in Aruba. We already took a 3-mile walk. I already hit the gym. We went and had breakfast. I walked along the beach already. It's been a fantastic day so far. Stephanie's already worn out. She, it's very difficult to keep up with me. I am not an easy person to get along with. And after 33 years, I believe I might have finally worn the poor girl down.
I have to ask you a question. Did Rosie, the timekeeping dog, come with you to keep you accountable?
No, she did not. I wish she would have, because she is at home missing me drastically, because she's with my son, will not go near his wife, and just kind of lays on I'm in a bud shop. She just lays on his lap wondering where daddy is. She keeps going over and staring at the door.
Oh,
so she's with me all the time. So.
Yeah, poor baby. Oh my gosh. Oh, poor puppies. My dogs are sitting like right here, and I'm sure that Phoenix the cat will come flying through here. He is so hyper in the mornings now. It used to be at night. Now it's like mornings. I was trying to do my workout this morning.
But does Phoenix the cat have a magic bag and he can pull stuff out of it? There was an old 1970s cartoon called Felix.
Felix the cat. But
come on, it's a play on words. Have you met me?
Oh my God. Lay, that's 2. That's 2 if you're keeping score. Have you met? Oh my God. Oh, Bud. Oh my gosh. All I have to say is I am not surprised at all. Not one bit. But you know what? I just realized something.
What?
Something that we talked about, I want to say 2 or 3 months ago. Mm-hmm. This would surprise me if this happened. What if WeWork goes bankrupt?
Right. Hey, listen, I don't know if anybody who's watching right now, and by the way, thank you for the over 375 people that watched last week during the live stream and after the fact. Thank you very much for that. We really do appreciate it. And the hundreds of comments we get during the live is fantastic. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Shade and heat at us. And yes, I am not wearing a Speedo, but I am wearing pants, which is good. So anyway, but thank you very much for that. Listen, if you have seen the Apple TV series about WeWork, definitely check that out, because it is really a pretty novel concept. Now, the guys who started it were absolutely crazy. They did a lot of crazy things and set themselves up for success and created a multi-billion-dollar company. I think right now it's valued at about $14 billion. Am I right on that?
I believe so.
Yeah. But they were creating these office spaces where you could go and just rent a desk for the day. And I know that there are a lot of people that have since copied that, but so think about this for a second. Now you've got WeWork, which started in San Francisco, but now they are one of the biggest office space leaseholders in Manhattan. And they sell these spaces. You can rent these desks or an office or a cubicle for, how many hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars a month. And if they go bankrupt, all of the stuff that we've been talking about as far as that office space problem that they're having, the impact is insane.
Yeah. This is the thing, Bud. We were talking about when all the commercial spaces and everything, like in big cities, are now largely unused for their intended purpose. And we talked about how we should have bought into WeWork. I believe that was the conversation we were having. And now, initially everything was valued, like you said, about 47 billion. Now it's plummeted. It's like 13 And it's just
$275 million. It's dropped from $13 at the IPO. And this is just in the beginning of this year, it was at about 14 billion. And now it's dropped even further. I mean, think about that.
Well, now
billion from that.
And you look at like how much space that it was occupying and how many people it was serving. So we're talking like over 6 million square feet in like Manhattan. And I think like 70 office spaces there. So
and a lot of them are older, like architecturally incredible buildings,
Yes,
not those
beautiful.
big glass ugly structures that you see now.
Well, and now WeWork is also, they were at one time, I believe, New York City's largest lease holder. So what that means is that landlords in Manhattan and New York City proper are going to be majorly impacted if this does collapse the way that we think it's going to. Now they could file for Chapter 11 and then defer some of those payments on past debt. But then what would happen is I think landlords, they would then have to force a Chapter 7 so that they could get what was due to them. Yes. So it's sort of like, and it's a different way to structure the phrase, but when we flip a house and we use forced appreciation as a means of improving our ARV, whether by rehab or doing something different, a sizzle feature, whatever, it's sort of like that. It's forcing something to get a different result in real estate. And it's not something that's done every day. Really, truly, this is going to domino.
Kenny, considering the fact that, for these size buildings, they use that income valuation. So if they lose the rent of WeWork in these 70 buildings, each of those buildings, the value of those properties drops dramatically, like drastically. And then all of a sudden, now you have this ripple effect. It's like throwing the stone in the pond. Just watching this thing just starts to create this domino where it's just going to be an issue,
Right. Exactly. That's exactly where I was going with that. It's going to domino down. And so what's going to happen is even if the landlords get what they're due, it's going to force them into a situation where now they have no residual income. There's nothing there because the company will no longer exist. And, Jen Chapin just shared something. We need to buy them and turn them into housing. I think, Bud, somebody was talking about that several months ago on this live stream. I think it was us. Absolutely. We've been talking about that for months and how what we could do with it would just be exponentially good. I'm hoping that local municipalities, landlords, other investors, I'm hoping that is the outcome. I'm really hoping
they have to incentivize it in some way, right? So either creating after the fact enterprise or opportunity zones to defer some property taxes to these landlords. Or something, because it's hurting, and I'm feeling a little bit of the struggle myself, only because of I don't want to say it's diminished returns on the rents in the Philadelphia area because people are now working farther away from the city, but I will say that I've noticed it because they're still living in Jersey, but now they want space in their rentals for a home office. So I have a couple of one bedrooms and they're like, how big is the one bedroom? WeWork started in San Fran. That's absolutely right. And they're having problems with empty offices, but you notice where these things are at right now. They're in these, these major cities, and look, they're going to be in a major city anyway, because that's their business model anyway. So people are looking for these spaces. If my single bedrooms, my 1-in-1s, weren't over 700 square feet, they wouldn't have space for a home office and they wouldn't be looking. And that's the number one question that we were getting as we're renovating this building. Hey, how big is it? Is there enough space for a home office? Well, it's funny you should ask. I actually have a nook that goes up the side of this old Victorian, and it's perfect for a desk. You can have the sun behind you, and it's beautiful. But that is part of the problem, right? Is that all these people are just not going back to work.
well, now this is going to create skepticism too in terms of office spaces in general. So we're going to have basically we've already had a decreased demand. It's going to continue to decrease. And then what's going to happen is we're going to have large scale commercial vacancies. So we're going to have huge office buildings, not just an office space or a mixed use. It's going to be everywhere. And we were talking about this months ago, but I said, it's already starting and it's going to just snowball. It's going to continue. Oh, and look, we've got another comment here. Why not set it up as housing and a floor would be set aside for office space rent? It solves a problem, basically. Jen, that's a fabulous suggestion. And in order to do that, these buildings have to be zoned as multi-use. So if it's zoned commercial, it has to be used commercial. Now, at least here in Washington State, there is some work being redone in terms of rezoning certain residential areas so that you can now have multifamily dwellings within single family residence, primarily neighborhoods. But in terms of rezoning commercial to mixed use or commercial to residential, it's going to be tough. But I think that if the municipalities don't come alongside and see the need to do this, it's going to have another cascading effect in other areas of our economy. Because what happens when people can't, when there's already a housing shortage, right? And when people can't invest properly to help solve that problem, they're going to take their money and go somewhere else. They're going to go to another area.
I got a theory. I have a theory. Are you ready? No, it's dead serious. The buses keep coming to New York, right? They keep sending buses to Manhattan. Their mayor is losing his mind because Greg Abbott keeps sending buses, truckloads of illegal immigrants. There you go. Appeal to the federal government instead of putting them up in hotels. Pay the landlords to convert, put them in there. Anyway, all right. So that's Bud's theory. But hey, I do have a question for you though, Kimmy. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that's not a bad theory, actually. It's just a different way of looking at the problem. And that's the thing. Right. As investors, that's what we do. We look at things differently. We don't look at them like consumers.
Problems. Yeah, we solve problems. That's why we do what we do. So, Kimmy, let me ask you, you know how when I teach corporate structure, we talk about, we're talking about irrevocable trusts. We're talking about putting your primary home into a trust so that you don't have to deal with tax ramifications later on. It prevents things like probate and all that kind of stuff. Did you know that people do that to launder money? I had no idea.
Come again? Launder money?
Yeah, no kidding. So so if you guys are not signed up for therealdeal.com, definitely check this out, right? So one of the things that I'm seeing here is there is a way in a trust where these illegal entities, we'll call them, put these properties into trust. They purchase luxury homes in a trust, which allows them to then launder money. So so they're essentially passing a law right now to try, the U.S. Treasury Department anyways, they're going to propose a rule to end anonymous luxury home purchases. Now, a couple of things are good about that. It could mandate real estate professionals, title insurers to disclose identities of the beneficial owners of the company. But the purpose of having an irrevocable trust, a living trust, or even a revocable trust, is specifically to not tell the government that you own this property. So, I see both sides of this argument. The Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, or FinCEN, is anticipated to suggest the rule in about a month. And Janet Yellen, who's the Treasury Secretary, said that there was about $2.3 billion laundered in U.S. real estate from 2015 to 2020. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, with an irrevocable trust, and when your primary home, or any home really, is in a trust, actually, that is one way that we as investors can handle a due on sale clause being called.
Yep.
And as we've been talking about all the time in the Coffee with the Captain tribe, it's kind of like the boogeyman. Like, it exists, it's a thing, but very few people have seen it. We still need to be prepared for it. And one of the ways that we can help mitigate a due on sale clause that gets called basically when the chain of title is broken. So when you deed a property out from somebody else to somebody else, or an entity or whatever it is, from two different people, then what happens is the due on sale clause comes into effect because the property has technically been sold. It has nothing to do with the purchase and sale agreement in that regard. And so what I see happening with this potentially is when you have the due on sale clause and it's called due because you've broken the chain of title, the deed belongs to somebody else. There are three ways that you can undo it, right? You can sell the property. That doesn't really involve the seller at all, but you're just selling it and getting rid of it. And then it undoes it, obviously. Or you can put it into a trust, right? And have an executory contract that states that these people still own it, but the property is in the trust with the original owner as the beneficiary. And then you list the person who bought the property as the beneficiary and you swap them out. That right there is going to have implications for us as investors, potentially, if we ever see a due on sale clause like that, and that's the way that we choose to go about it. That's going to, again, it would be super, super rare if all of those circumstances lined up. But I do believe that this has implications for the anonymity of the names or the entities of people that own these luxury homes. And I'm not talking about luxury homes. I'm talking about your standard, like we're going to buy a flip or we're going to go sub-2 on something and sell our finance out so these people can ride off into the sunset.
I'm looking at Scarface. Right,
Scarface.
Like God, with the big fountain in the center of the living room of the foyer, right? And then, like, so what you do, like, what they're doing is they're setting up these shell corporations, and then the shell corporations are owned by a trust, and then the trust buys the multi-million-dollar mansion so that they can't see where the money's coming from because it might be coming from Grand Cayman or something like that, where it's being laundered and shipped out overseas in American dollars. Not that I know anything about that. I don't know anything about that.
It's scaring me, bud. Your knowledge is scaring me a little bit. I'm just saying.
Can't talk about where I found that stuff out.
It's Fight Club. It's Fight Club. We can't.
I missed the first 10 minutes of Fight Club. It was such an outstanding time. I had a great time at Fight Club. It's late.
I cannot even. All I'm going to say is I cannot even with you. Lay, how many is that? Is it 3 already? I am falling behind. I haven't had enough coffee today. But I do have to say, honestly, bud, this whole, I'm in favor of harshening the consequences against people who use these huge luxury real estate purchases to money launder. Yeah. Like I'm in favor of that. I just hope that it's going to affect. I
don't want it to affect me, Kimmy. I want my mini mansion, and I'm going to put it in a trust, so that eventually, when I get older, and I get closer to death, which is like, let's say, Rihanna just left the stage. I'm still at halftime, right? I haven't retaken the field yet. I still got plenty of time to go, by the way. It's not going to happen anytime soon. But here's the deal. I want to be able to transfer my assets to my son, his wife, my grandkids without any kind of hassle, which is the whole purpose of it, an irrevocable living trust. So there's a part of me that's like, yeah, I see why they're doing it. But at the same time, why are they able to pierce the veil of a trust? That is exactly against the whole purpose of having a trust.
Exactly. So and the trust is a layer of protection, right? That's how we look at it. Because we have in this industry as you just said, the corporate veil. So the corporate veil can be something as simple as, okay, we'll take mine, for example. My rental properties that are in an LLC, okay?
Yeah.
Kimmy and Justin don't own them, or Bud and Second Street Properties don't, right? It's in my LLC. What happens is the trust then owns everything in the LLCs and the LLCs, so that it's a second level of a corporate veil. Right. If we can pierce any piece of a corporate veil, it leaves us as investors, or in this case, consumers, vulnerable, completely vulnerable. It's awful. And you're right. It defeats the purpose of having the trust in the first place. But what I see happening is it's going to have a slight cascading effect. I think, like I said, real estate prices are going to be impacted by it. But just like in the hot spots, like we talked about last week, Miami, New York, the literal hot spots in the real estate market. I get the implication of boosting public confidence, but I don't want it to come at the expense. Of our corporate veils. There is no price worth paying to get rid of our corporate veil. I'll never do it.
No, exactly. And you know what, Kimmy, I'm just going to kind of move along with this because, one of the things that we do with that is we have these companies that own other companies that are in that trust, but you go out, you invest. When we're buying these syndications and putting them in an LLC that's owned by an LLC that's owned by a trust, I got to ask you, how much do you think you're exposed if you go into a crowdsourced deal?
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Right? I mean, you know where I'm going with it, because Ely Schwartz just pulled he's going to do time. Guaranteed he's going to do time. So a multi-billion-dollar scandal going on right now because through a crowdsourced method of syndication, this guy just decided to take the money that was in his fund, and instead of buying these two office buildings, he decided that he was going to buy these two office buildings instead. And this was not a blind pool fund. So when he said, I'm buying these two office buildings, he is required by law to buy those two office buildings. When he did the other thing, he misappropriated how many millions of dollars, oh my goodness, 60 million, and basically scammed hundreds of investors who through CrowdStreet, the two properties he was supposed to buy never happened.
I was just going to say, what was the intended use of funds? So it was some acquisition in Atlanta or something like that, or Miami?
Yeah, but again, what are we talking about? Office buildings, right? And it's not a great investment right now. So he's supposed to buy these two office buildings in Atlanta and Miami, and instead he decides, you know what, we're going to do this instead. So he, the money had been misappropriated. So essentially, the CEO of CrowdStreet just punched and brought attention to Schwartz, who operated mostly because nobody knew who Nightingale was. Nobody knew who Nightingale was. They have about $10 billion across 22 states. And they have control. Now they're losing properties of over $1 billion, including holdings in New York, Philadelphia, and Chicago. So he's when you have like these bigwigs that are playing, like guys that we know, like these very high public figures who buy into these things, it's one thing. But when you are flying under the radar with a privately held fund, and these guys are just moving billions and billions of dollars through crowdsourcing and syndication deals, and the next thing you know, they're worth billions of dollars. It doesn't take much to, and I'm not saying that he didn't do it with intent. Okay. What I'm saying is that maybe he thought in his mind, hey, the money is best served. Instead of buying these two, we should buy these two. Not a good deal. You can't do that. So
you can't just shift your purpose when the money has already been allocated appropriately. I mean, if you have an investor, if I came to you, Bud, and I said, hey, Bud, real life example, I want to buy this tap room and restaurant, and I'm going to buy another rental up here in Washington. And you, Mr. Bud, investor guy, are going to sign on the dotted line that I'm going to pay you X amount of interest and I'll balloon you out in however long. And then I decide, oh, you know what? I'm not going to actually buy a rental. I'm going to buy another place and I'm going to flip it because it looks like a better deal, but I'm just not going to disclose that to you. You can't do that.
No, you can't. No, you cannot. And listen, if you want a prime example of what this is like, check out the Aim High podcast with Michael Mikalovich. Who actually was arrested and did some time for wire fraud. Similar thing, guy gets into a deal, wants to do the right thing. He's losing money here, and he wants to take money from here and move it over there and make everybody whole. You can't do that. The money is appropriated for here. You can't transfer that. And when you notify your shareholders that you're doing it, each email that goes out to each one of your people is fraud. So 36 counts of wire fraud. right? And they will put it all together and then give you a really nice 10-year sentence in, wherever you're going.
And that's
but it's a great story. I would definitely recommend you listen to that if you haven't already.
Yeah, we've talked about that too, Bud, about people, especially if you're newer as an investor, surround yourself with listening to stuff, watching stuff, reading stuff that's going to improve your here we go, integrity, the name of the game. It's going to improve your acumen for being an investor. Why? It's just like language acquisition. So if you have a tongue for linguistics and you're really good at learning languages, the best way for you to do that is to totally immerse yourself in the culture so that you're speaking the language all the time. Same thing here. And I've talked about this before. Immerse yourself in it. Listen to this podcast. Listen to this episode in particular, especially given the stories that we're talking about today that came out in the news this week with regards to real estate. You can't not learn. You can't not improve. You're going to, because if you're at this level of exposure, you can't escape it. But at some point, and this is really cool, it's not just exposure. It goes from exposure to immersion to obsession. And that's like, I can actually remember the day for me that changed. And it's so cool. It's such a great feeling, honestly.
Yeah. And listen, this guy is not a slouch. He knows this stuff. I mean, he owned the Coca-Cola building, albeit he bought it for about a month. But he turned it from a $909 million purchase and then sold it a month later for $937 million. So he's not a slouch. He knows what he's doing. The problem, and it's bringing attention not only to him, but also to CrowdStreet itself for having, lax controls, and it's not placing investor money into escrow for an actual purchase. So that's a problem in and of itself. Because Kimmy, you know as well as I do that when you're making this purchase, you don't want to hold that money in your personal bank account. You want to throw that money into the title company and have them hold that in escrow for you. It's why we call things opening or closing escrow, right? We open the account, we deposit the money in there for the purchase, whatever that might be, whether it's the earnest money deposit or the actual the amount that we're putting down, 20, 30, 40%, or whatever that might be. CrowdStreet is not doing that. They're basically taking that money and dropping it right into his fund, which that's a problem.
Correct. And I would also argue that, especially if you're a smaller scale investor, like the people that are just getting started with their first purchase, if you have private money lending and you're using that to help fund your exit strategies, you should always, and Bud, you helped me with this. We set up a separate bank account just for the purchase of one of our properties because we had private money in the deal. It's important because when you go from escrow to your bank account, you have to have records of all of that. I didn't want anything muddying the waters with our other property or our other purchases that were coming. I wanted it all standalone. And as you were telling me, it's best to just have a separate bank account for it because then you can see the chain of when it went to escrow, when the funds were released from escrow to the bank account, and then how you disperse the funds from there. A verbal, Leigh is right. Verbal isn't enough. A verbal contract is only as good as the paper that it's written on. So, I mean, you do the math. So it's not okay for me to say, okay, Mr. Private Money Lender, thanks for your money. And I'm just going to go down to the courthouse and buy this house at auction with all this cash. We don't do things like that, people. We start in escrow because we want to protect ourselves and our investors. Like that's really how it should be. Exactly.
I just got the knock on the window from Stephanie, the timekeeping wife. I can't get around it. So she's telling me that she's going to the beach without me. So I'm okay with that. We're going to stick around for a few minutes. And that's okay. We're like literally like I'm 100 feet from the water, so 100 yards from the water. So I'm good, And again, I've got a meeting at 11:30. We got plenty of time. Hey, by the way, Aim High REI is up to 260 members right now strong, and we are continuing to push. Guys, if you are not currently in the Aim High REI, please check it out. It is a good place for you to get, and it's completely free, and it always will be.
Yep.
Right.
And we do try to answer questions. Yeah. When we have questions come in there, we try to get them answered quickly, or at least set up a call so we can help if it's something more complicated. We love getting questions here in our live stream, but we're only here once a week. So if you need something when we're off the live stream, which is the majority of the time, go to Aim High REI. We will definitely get you connected and figure out how we can help, if we can help. And here's the really cool part about that. It's all learning. We never stop learning. But I think you just told me like 2 weeks ago, I still learn stuff like every day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. If you're not learning, you're dying. Tim Robbins, right? Tony Robbins. I'm sorry. Not Tim Robbins, the actor. Tony Robbins, the public speaker, author, and brilliant person. If you're not learning, you're dying. Always be gaining knowledge. And the other thing that's awesome about the REI is that we don't allow solicitations. We don't allow people to get in there to promote, wholesale deals or coaching programs or anything like that. That's it. This gets on there. The Aim High podcast goes on there. Things that we do within the Aim High community, including the Coffee with the Captain tribe. By all means, guys, if you're watching this on YouTube or LinkedIn, please take a jump over to Facebook. It's Aim High REI on Facebook. You can't miss it.
And I would also say, especially for the Coffee with the Captain tribe, y'all, this is my to-do list this week. This was all the things that I had going. And these are all the recordings and the live calls that I had to watch or get caught up on that I missed last week. This is all the knowledge that you could have. You could be here with us doing that. And if you're just looking to kind of scale up your business, it's a great place because you have a tribe around you that can help, and we can encourage and learn from each other, grow together. This was my week. And then also through Aim High REI, we do have Evans Consulting, right? So we can help.
Yeah, I don't even solicit for my own coaching program in Aim High REI, which is,
right.
Crazy.
It's separate. It's
right?
separate,
it's an separate entity.
But you have all of this stuff available for free. It's all of these resources in the Facebook group. Please take advantage of it. Please reach out and talk to people that are in the group too. Start networking. If you come to me and you say, I want to have a call with you, one of the first things I'm going to say is, when was your last call with a mentor or coach? And who are you networking with, and what does it look like?
Yeah. Hey, Jen Josie just put out today. If you haven't checked that out, if you don't know Jen Josie, definitely reach out and check that out. She has her own REIGN network, and she put out today, who is your mentor? Kimmy, who was your first mentor?
My first mentor, it was you, wasn't it?
What? Get out of town. No way.
I can't remember. It was either you or Jen. It might have been Jen, because she, you know what? I think it was.
I think I was the second or third call that you had, and we closed the deal on the phone.
Which is so crazy to me. I'm still like, that was, I just talked about it last week with somebody else. I was saying I had no experience. I had no idea what I was doing. It was a sub 2. It would have been a straight sub 2 not a straight. It would have had some seller finance. And we closed the deal. I closed it less than 60 days into my education as a real estate investor, with Bud typing on Zoom. Okay, ask about this. Go this way. Talking a little too much, right?
And you're what am I supposed to say now? Don't say anything. Shut up and listen. Okay.
Yep.
Why don't you tell me a little bit more about that? Paint me a picture. Cricket. On your end of the phone, there was nothing being said, and I'm just watching you, and you're like, I
was terrified. But you guys, when I came out of being terrified, it was so cool because, you hear the relief in the voice. And this is people I had never met, by the way. They were across the country. They were in some other state. They reached out to me. I was like, why me? And so, but it was an opportunity. But really, truly, Jen was, I think, my very first mentor that was hands-on. She did a coaching call with me from my first condo that I was in the middle of furnishing and repainting. We had just closed, and we were there, and we were, I love that lay. We had just closed, and we were there refurnished. Yeah, Diane, I did not die. Yeah. I'm here as proof that I did not die from closing it. And it's so cool, Bud, because now I close deals. That's what I do. I close for other people. I close for the tribe. I love it. And I hadn't had that one experience because that was how you introduced me to Yasser, because then these people got cold feet and they were starting. So I had to bring somebody else in. That was really the turning point of my education. And I was like right about here coasting at this level. And all of a sudden it went like this. Yep. And from there, now I'm a closer. That's what I do. I drink the coffee or the beer and I close things. Boom.
I drink whiskey and know things. There you go. Right? Don't tell Steph.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. No, Diane, we did not die. Oh, and that's the thing. 97% of it, all of the stuff that we worry about, oh my goodness, it doesn't happen. Can we please just concentrate on the potential, right? And Stephanie said to me this morning, she was like, oh, I really kind of hope. I said, stop. Don't hope. This will happen. This is what's going to happen. And she said, well, I have faith in you. I said, good.
I like it. I like it a lot. Is that Steph?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is she going to come say hi?
She is. Look, she's peeking her head in. There she is.
Hi.
She's hi. Here.
There's my honey. Right? Isn't she right?
Can't see.
That's okay.
All fogs up.
Oh, I love it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I love it. This is great.
All right. I'll be down. I'll see you in a minute.
Yay. Aww.
Right. Still, after 33 years, she still lets me kiss her on the cheek.
Very, very nice. I like it. It. Steph, I can't believe she made an appearance. You guys, you just saw history happen. This was Stephanie's first appearance on our live stream. That Absolutely. Is very, very, very cool.
She wants to stay. The Sheer Know-How is one of our 8 companies, and that's all Stephanie's baby. She is not only the owner-operator, she's also the manager of the LLC. So, Aim High Properties is the owner. She's the operator and manager of said LLC. So that's all Sheer Know-How. That's all her, and she is tearing it up. So thank you very much. It is, oh my goodness, it is 7 days away for 33 years. Yeah, amazing.
That's so
Feels
cool.
Like yesterday. Feels like yesterday. Oh. Except we have a 31-year-old son, which is like, meh.
Well, how long are you in Aruba for?
Until Sunday.
Until Sunday? So does that give you enough time to take another trip to Arizona and meet up with us? Because we're going back down to Scottsdale. So we're doing our quarterly and our semi-annual maintenance, where we have to do things like replace batteries in the smoke detectors, check the smart locks, replace the batteries in those. I am a neurotic cleaner in terms of things that don't get done on a turnover clean that are also not included in a deep clean, like going along all the baseboards and cleaning those and the ceiling fans and the light fixtures and all that. So I like to do that myself, and it's a write-off. When we're going down to do maintenance, it's a write-off. But get this. So because I am now a future Mrs. Babe, there's a chance that I could come back married. But Bud, you said, just give me a minute to get my credentials for whatever state you're going to get married in.
Give me a couple of minutes. I'll be an Arizona minister for the Universal Life Church. Doesn't take much. Then I just got to send my registration. I think it's like $90 or something like that.
Oh, all my friends are coming up in the chat. No, we have to be there. You guys, I am such a small scale person when it comes to attention and focus. Like I want to get married and then go have a beer at our favorite brewery, which by the way, it's OSO, Outrageous Homebrewers Social Outpost. Mentors Trump soul. Yes, they do. Yes. I really want to make sure that I'm keeping this small, but I don't want to cut you out of it. Like if you want to come.
No, you're not allowed. You're not allowed.
If you want to come down, I got 2 condos.
Yeah, there you go. I'm in. Let's do it. You can do it online, Bud Evans. No, I can't do it online. No, Clay, I can't do that online. It's got to be in person.
Well, I think she's talking about getting your proper.
Yeah, I can get. Oh, yeah, that's all. Yeah, I can do that definitely. I can get all that. Oh, is that Kira?
That's Kara. She's wanting the RV kids, as we've been coined, because Kara and Dean, they traveled all the way from Ohio, right? All the way out to Costa Mesa for a meetup with Homeschooled by Tarek back in November of last year. And then Dean drove all of us around to like the various events in the RV. And so what Kara is saying is the RV kids have to be, oh, thank you, Lay. Yes, that's our spot. By the way, Oso Brewery is the very first place that we ever went in Arizona. And it's the place where we met our friend Baker. Baker got to meet my mom. It was so cool. Baker got to meet her. And it was just, yeah, it was so great. I can't even believe that my parents went down to Arizona, but they did it. And they got to meet my friend, and it's so cool. But anyway, yeah, Kara's wanting me to, she's wanting me to include all of the RV kids so that I'm not cutting anybody out of the fun.
Right.
I
you
will.
You know what we can do? We can park the RV in the parking lot, do it right outside of the RV, and then toast with the brewery, the stuff from the brewery. But listen, I got to ask you a question because Lay just brought this up. They threw a clergy outfit in my Amazon shopping cart. But I have a question though. If it's the Universal Life Church, do I have to wear an alien head or something like that? I mean, I don't exactly know what I'm, like a shiny silver suit with the neck rings and the astronaut helmet. I don't know what I'm supposed to wear as a member of the Universal Life Church, which is like literally. So Stephanie and I, long story short, we had an argument a while back and we were talking about a specific reverend on TV making inflammatory remarks. And she said, he's a reverend. And I went, hang on, I'll be right back. And I went upstairs and I got my Universal Life Church certificate in under 3 minutes. And then came downstairs and I had my certificate. I am now a registered reverend in the state of Pennsylvania.
Are you serious?
Yeah, true story.
I'm going to make... That's my friend Baker with my mom, guys. I'm going to make Baker famous. That's at Oso in Gilbert. Anyway, I just want to make it simple. So, Bud, you go get licensed wherever. I support that. I like it. I'm here for it. And I can't promise that I won't come back married. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. You and Steph should just come join us. We've got 2 places.
Yeah, you got to let me know if it's happening, and we'll figure it out. I know the one problem that we have is the salon, right? So it might just be me, Stag, unfortunately, but we'll see. I would love to.
We've got a condo for you.
With you guys. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Kara, look at Kara. She's wanting us to go. She needs the
11.
RV. She needs the RV present for my maybe wedding. Oh my gosh. Okay. This took on a new life, bud.
It did. We were all the way out there and our numbers are growing. Yes. 22, Kimmy. I do have an 11:30 meeting. I want to be in the water when that happens, covered in suntan lotion. So
okay, you go.
Believe it or not, I am actually tan right now, which is my normal color. So whatever, right? I don't. There we go. So, all right. Here we go. It is 11:22. So for Kimmy Crombie, my co-host from the West Coast, I am Bud Evans, the Property Patriot, host of the Aim High podcast. Until next time, aim high. See you Friday.